Hello friends, welcome to today's video. Today I have a very interesting topic for you. And today I'm going to be talking about categories or things that I own multiple of. And owning multiple of these things was an intentional choice. Now, there's a video topic that's floating around in minimalist circles and has for years now. It's a very popular video of people who talk about, or even on blogs, things that I only own one of. It's a popular category. I find lots of these lists to be, I think a lot of people might own at least something of the list, like they own one of, like a bathrobe is pretty common, or a wallet. I only own one of those things too. What I found was happening in some of these blogs in particular was in their discussion of the value of owning less, it became a little bit self-flagellating and also a little bit of how much less can I own, and being a little bit competition-y. While there are definitely great things about minimalism, that's the one thing I don't like, is getting into this competition with others on the internet about who can own less stuff, and it being really gratifying to own less things than other people. I might make my own version of that one day, but if I do, it would be things I only own one of, and that oneness, that singularness, was an intentional choice. So all the things in this video are things that I own multiple of, and I decided to own multiple things in this category for a reason. It was a thoughtful choice opposed to an accumulation of things, and then after a while just get kind of used to that number. So there's that. And then the second, I think, fun thing about this video is that a lot of the things on my list are things that have appeared or are very common in the lists of only own one thing of. And I think only owning one of some of these things is dumb. And we don't need to celebrate making our lives difficult or more difficult because, or in the name of owning less. If you're somebody who has seen some of these videos or knows some of these lists, I hope my take on some of these things is also interesting. Let's get into it. The first thing are fancy dresses. These would be the kinds of dresses that you would wear to a wedding. I own two, which in my opinion is still minimalist, but doesn't belong on the only own one of list. And this is something I've seen actually time and time again. I own two. One is short sleeve and one is long sleeve. I live in a country that experiences 4 seasons. If it's long sleeves, you will freaking boil in the summer, and if it's short sleeves, you will freeze in the winter. Sure, you can put a sweater on it, but I'm sorry guys, putting a sweater on it in winter in Canada is not gonna do much. Anyways, plus you do like to, I want to show off the dress. So the two dresses that I have I actually bought the long sleeve one first, and I thought that this would be the only one that I would have, and it's black, and I think it's very beautiful. And you can dress it up a little bit. It's one of those classic Aritzia dresses, and you can dress it up a little bit with a different belt or shoes or hair accessories, even a purse, accessorize it a little bit. And then the short sleeve one is the exact same version, but short sleeve. And these are my fanciest dresses that would go to anything short of black tie. The second is moisturizer. Skincare is on so many of these lists. Like, the person uses the same moisturizer for daytime and nighttime and other skincare elements. And while I can say there are certainly skincare things I own too much of that I would like to own less of, moisturizer ain't one of them. For me, a daytime moisturizer has got to have SPF, which you're not gonna put on going to bed. So that alone requires 2 moisturizers. Then I also what's happening right now is that both my moisturizers for both daytime and nighttime are not moisturizing enough. So I am going to get a nighttime moisturizer that is like doubly as moisturizing, and then kind of keep the daytime one the same. So hopefully if I have more nighttime hydration, and then also I was using my hyaluronic acid for the daytime, but I think if I have a more moisturizing night cream, putting hyaluronic acid with that would just make more sense. So I'm going to change up that a little bit, and then if that doesn't work, then I'll also get a more moisturizing day cream. But I want to be very cautious because we are just at the point? Like, we have 1 month and then we're going to be in summer and I can't wait. So it wouldn't make sense to, buy new skincare right now, but I do need a better nighttime moisturizer because my skin is dry and it's struggling a little bit. So that makes sense. And I've done this before with face wash. I bought one and then it wasn't quite working. It was too drying for me, or drying on my skin too much. So I put it aside and got another one. And right now I've brought it back out and we're at the time of year where it's no longer too drying. It's perfect, actually. And a lot of minimalists would not approve of this, just finish it. But I'm not going to stress out my skin in the name of having one extra cleanser. It doesn't really make sense to me. And I will keep a thing in the back of my closet or the back of my drawer for 6 months or a year until I can pull it back out again, because I do plan to use it. I'm just not going to struggle through these things. The third thing are bathing suits. I own two. I own one piece and one 2-piece, and I've been kind of thinking of replacing the 2-piece because it's not the cutest 2-piece. It is meant for somebody taller, so I'm always like pulling it down when I'm at the beach. But I bought that a couple years ago. Might have been 2020. I don't know if it was 2019. But I bought it when I was very body conscious. And I'm a big believer of just put on the suit. Doesn't matter what you look like, because if you don't put on the suit, you could just be robbing yourself of so much fun. So I'd rather put on the 1-piece. And even if my body does not look any different to the public in a 1-piece or a 2-piece, I just feel so much more comfortable and then have a fun time going in the water. When I go to the beach, I go to the beach to swim, to frolic in the water, or to, play beach volleyball or play frisbee or something like that. I'm gonna wear the 2-piece if that makes me more comfortable. So I think having one of each makes so much sense. And I don't think that owning more would really make a lot more sense, because I don't use, like, the absolute most that I would ever need a swimsuit is once a week. That is not even, I've never had that happen. I've maybe gone to the beach like twice in a month, maybe 3 times. So that's not even once a week. And in that case, you can just wash your swimsuit and then wear it the next week. If I lived in a place like Florida where I was by the ocean and also in a hot climate, then I would probably own more than 2. It might make sense to own 3 or 4 if you're always in the water or if you're a swimmer. But that ain't me. So 2 makes a lot of sense. All right, number 4, extra bedding. The people who pride themselves on only having one type of bedding or one bedding, that does not make sense to me. And for one reason. And by bedding, I don't mean like extra duvet sets. If you are out there and you own multiple duvet sets, I can completely understand that. I probably should have owned more than one duvet set when I was living with my parents, because it got so hot in my room. But now it's always cold here, so we don't really have to worry about that. Anyways, I'm talking about sheets and pillowcases, as well as like a duvet cover. Now, I think I only have one duvet cover, but it desperately needs replacing. But sheet sets, I have 2. I have one for summer and one for winter, like spring, summer, fall, winter. And yes, I do like the seasonal change. But I could understand people who say, you know what, that's kind of excessive. I only want one sheet set. If somebody said that to me, I would say, fine. I completely understand. And I would probably rumble with that in my head too. Like, would I want that? And at least part of me would probably be like, yes, you do, Shauna. But the reason why I think having 2 is important is because shit happens. For my ladies out there, have you ever gotten your period in the middle of the night? This has happened to me. You're not expecting it and it just comes. I'm not going to sleep in that. I'm just not. Also, have you ever spilled something in your bed? I have spilled a ginormous tub of water right as I was going to bed. And there's other people, like, I'm not gonna put on my laundry in the middle of the night and then also just sleep on my mattress. That it makes no sense anywhere out there. Also, if getting sick, I have been sick before. That is not something that's happened in years. So that one is not the most worrisome, but just imagine like puking and getting some of it on your bed and then have nothing else. The first two have happened. I mean, all of three have happened to me before, but the first two are more likely to happen. I can totally foresee it happening. So having an extra spare set of sheets is a security blanket for me, and just making sure that I will be warm, that I will have sheets, and that's it. A sheet set does not take up a lot of space, so it's worth having an extra set. And then in this case, if I have one for spring and one for winter, then I can, cycle them off half and half. You do get that change, but you also have the spare set. And to me, it's a win-win-win. Number 5 are hairstyling tools. And I don't own a blow dryer, which I think, let me know if you don't own a blow dryer, because I've never met another woman who doesn't own a blow dryer, but I'm sure with the internet being as big as it is, there has to be more people out there. Maybe it's more common than I think. But I don't own a blow dryer, but I do own the blow dry brush, which I bought last year. One of the best purchases of 2021, let me tell you. I also have a straightener, and then I have 2 curling irons. Now, the one curling iron is a big one. I think it's like 2 inches. It's best if you have long hair, and for a while my hair was too short to use it. I don't know if I could use it now. I probably could. My hair is probably long enough for it now. But they give you 2 different types of curls. So I think this is the perfect number of things for me for hairstyling. It's 4 things. I don't style my hair all that often, but I do blow dry my hair with my blow dry brush probably once a week, roughly. Maybe like once every other week or once every 10 days, something like that. I do use it a couple of times a month. And when I say couple, also just a side note, I always say couple, but I never mean 2 things. It's usually like a handful, like 3, maybe 4, maybe 2. So I do use it a handful of times every month, and I love it every time I use it. I do like to do my hair. Having, let's say, just a straightening iron, I would miss curling my hair, or just having a curling iron, I would miss straightening my hair. And for those of you who say all you need is a curling iron, all you need is a straightener, you don't need a curling iron, false. I don't like curling iron curls. I don't like them. I used to do my hair like that in university, and I do not like those curls. So there's that. Number 6 are winter boots. I own 2 pairs. I have one like taller pair of Sorels, which are my more wintry boots, and then I have a shorter pair of Sorels, which are really great for slushy weather, like when it's somewhere around 0 degrees. Maybe it's +2, maybe it's -2, somewhere in that region. I could go a little bit colder, but mostly for slush, because I think they're kind of like a duck boot. I think that might be one of the names for it, although that's not what the boot is called. Or the top or the front of the boot is rubber. The other pair of boots, I think the texture on the outside would get a little bit destroyed, honestly, if I were to go out in really slushy weather with them. And so just because of how cold our climate is and how drastic the weather is, having these types of winter boots makes a lot of sense. I also have a more stylish Chelsea boot that kind of qualifies in the winter boot category. And also just having more than one pair of boots. The minimalists out there are probably like, how dare she have more than one pair of boots? Because I feel like it's such a minimalist thing to say I have one pair of Chelsea boots. But guys, I swear, it's like 8 months of the year it's cold here, at least 6 months of the year. From October to March, it's cold. 6 months. For 6 months of the year, if you're going to be, for 50% of the year, if you need a freaking winter jacket, then I think multiple pairs of boots are fine. Even for more stylish ones. Like when you go out in the winter, I think having more than one pair of boots when 50% of the year it can be below freezing, I think more than one pair of boots is fine. Like I'm not wearing flats when it's 0 degrees. Hell no. I'm not wearing flats when it's 2 degrees. I think multiple boots in general, not even just winter boots, multiple boots, fine in my books. All right, let's talk about jackets. I do only own one winter jacket, which is a parka, mostly because getting a good winter jacket is so expensive. And I don't know that, like, let's say somebody was like, I'm going to buy you a winter jacket, whatever you want. Like, I don't think I would get a winter jacket that's not black. So it's like, do I wear this slightly different black jacket or this slightly different black jacket? When it comes to the warmer parts of the year, I have a gradient of jackets. I have like a light puffer that is for when it's, I don't know, maybe 0 degrees to roughly 10 degrees. 10 would be like the cap. Maybe 15, just depending on how windy it was. So roughly to 10 degrees. And then I have jackets that I'll wear when it's above 12 or 15 degrees. And then I have jackets I'll wear when it's even warmer. And I think it's 5 jackets. I think it's 5, maybe 6. And so I have very little overlap in my jackets, but I have what might be a lot of jackets. But our temperature is just so varied. I think it's warranted. And I also feel like people should own rain jackets. I own a rain jacket. I love it. It's really cute. So I think it works. Number 8 are knives. I saw this so much on these minimalist lists that they only own one knife. Okay, I get it to an extent. I think those really large knife blocks where there's like 5 or 8 knives is not really, I think it's excessive. I have a knife block with 3 knives. There's a paring knife, and then there's like a medium size knife and a large size knife. And I used to think that I probably could have just gotten away with 2, like the paring knife and then one of the 2. But the large knife just feels so large and excessive when I'm cutting up cucumber, or I'm cutting up carrots or something like that. But the large knife is excellent when I have fruit like cantaloupes or melons or pineapples. It's great for that. You kind of need that longer blade to get the job done. So for me, it makes sense to have a 3 knife set, and I get use of all of my knives. Yeah, there's one I use more than the other 3, but the other 2, but the other 2 come in handy at least once a week. Let's also talk about sheet pans, because we're in like the little kitchen section now. If I was truly living alone and never had a single person over at my house ever, I think 1 sheet pan would be fine. But the fact is, I have my partner over all the time, and we cook things together, and you can't force fries and chicken fingers onto the same plate when you eat as much as we do. You can't put both of those things on 1 sheet pan. The fries alone take up 1 sheet pan. So yeah, I'm gonna own 2, and we use it every month. I did only own 1 for a while and then struggled, and then I got a second one. So sheet pans, they work. Okay, the last in the kitchen area would be cutting boards. And I saw somebody very proudly exclaim that they only have 1 cutting board. 2 words: cross-contamination. I only owned 1 for a while until I realized that I could really easily make myself sick if the cutting board wasn't cleaned properly, and then I cut my vegetables on them too. I was just doing some research, and it's very common for people to have separate cutting boards for meat and then separate cutting boards for like fruits and vegetables to avoid cross-contamination, most specifically from the meat to the vegetables. And that just seems like a really good best practice to be in. So I just made the first one that I owned, the cutting board for meat, and then I made the newer one that had never ever touched meat, be the one for fruits and vegetables. So good for you if 1 cutting board works, but I would really love to not get sick, so I'm going to stick with my 2 cutting boards. Another big one that I saw in minimalist circles was perfume. And I really do understand the value in having a signature scent, one that you are known for. And if I think about one that is very common out there that I know a lot of women love, which is Daisy. I love Daisy too, but that is not an all year round scent. I currently own Daisy and I will not wear that in winter. It is not a winter scent. It's really not. I like to smell sexy, sultry, woodsy, vanilla-y, a little musky, a little tobacco-y in the winter. And then in the summer, I like to smell sweet and flowery, floral, maybe a little vanilla, but not like the musky vanilla, I like the sweet kind of more like demure smelling scents for the summer. Feels like it calls for it. So I don't own very many perfumes. I believe it's 3 full-size bottles. I could go for 2. I could say 2. I don't think, and here is my thing with perfume. I absolutely understand if you want to be a signature scent kind of gal or guy or person. I respect that about you. But I also don't feel like I should feel bad about not wanting to have a signature scent, about wanting some variety and feeling like I get something out of the variety. The last thing on the list, I was gonna just put hats, but I feel like headbands was the appropriate attachment. Hats and headbands. I own 3 hats. I own a baseball cap. It has a YYZ on the front and it's black. And I would like to own a second one because that one is kind of like, it's kind of dirty, it's kind of old, and it might need replacing, but I might just keep that as the gym hat. I think that could work. But I would like maybe like a cuter one to wear out because I don't wear it out all that often because it's kind of gross from the gym and just time. But either way, I own 1 baseball hat. I own 1 like floppy hat for the beach, and then I own one of those like wide brim hats that we all love in the fall. Like the ones circa 2016. I did buy mine in 2016 or 2015, 2017, something like that. So I own 3 hats, and they used to be on my wall for decoration, and they actually probably should go on the wall. Honestly, they should go back on the wall, but I don't really know if the layout of this place is going to stay the same. So we're just going to leave it where they are for now and change it later. But I think 3 hats is great. They all have their own function. And then with headbands, we all know I'm a headband queen. Don't come for my headbands. Do not come for my headbands. I wear them all the freaking time. I love them. They give me so much variety and happiness in life. They are part of my signature style. Rip them out from my cold, dead hands. Look, I absolutely understand that not everybody wants a headband or is a hair accessory kind of gal. I get it. I really, really do. I understand, but I am. So is owning 10 headbands excessive? To me, no, because I wear a headband every day. So that will just get me roughly a week and a half's worth of use, roughly. I just love them. Some of them are for fall, winter, some of them are for spring, summer, so we do get a little bit of rotation in there. But wearing headbands, having multiple headbands gives me life and joy, and I will not change that for the world. So these are 12 things that I own multiple of, that I love, that function and work for me, that were all deliberate choices. I would like to know what is on your list in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon.